we're diving into something that literally hits home for almost every single one of us, the very foundation of our financial security. You know, for generations, we've had this one specific, rock-solid way of viewing our safety nets. But, well, recent events are forcing us to completely rethink the whole shebang. We call it the golden illusion. Let's get right into it because what we're unpacking today challenges some of our absolute deepest financial habits, and it's absolutely crucial for protecting your family's future in this crazy, unpredictable world. I mean, just look at how fast the ground beneath our feet can shift. On May 12th, the news was totally reassuring. Official statements basically said, hey, there's absolutely no plan to hike the gold import duty. So people were making their buying plans based on that promise. But then, literally the very next day, May 13th, a complete 180. The import duty was suddenly hiked. So the reality we're dealing with right now is that imported gold has become significantly more expensive, practically overnight. 15%. Just let that number sink in for a second. That is a massive new tax burden slapped onto imported gold in the blink of an eye. Talk about a swift government pivot, right? Imagine waking up to find that the number one asset you've always relied on for safety just got 15% more expensive to acquire, all because of a sudden policy change. It's a huge jolt to anyone who is planning to buy gold as a safety net. It fundamentally changes the math of hoarding physical metal. So here's our quick agenda for today's explainer. We're going to cover 1. The gold duty shock, 2. India's emotional security, 3. The shift to financial planning, 4. Health and term insurance, and finally 5. The cheaper financial backup. Starting right off with Section 1, the gold duty shock and these sudden policy changes. Moving to Section 2, India's emotional security, why gold is way more than just a metal. You see, there's this deeply ingrained mindset that views gold as our emotional security and the ultimate support in hard times. And let's be honest, for generations, this has been our ultimate fallback plan. It's not just shiny jewelry, is it? It's a profound source of emotional comfort. When things go sideways, we're culturally wired to look to gold to make it right. It's really seen as the physical embodiment of a family's resilience against life's absolute worst storms. And what exactly do those storms look like? Well, whether it's sudden, overwhelming hospital bills, an urgent need for business funds to keep things afloat, or just, immediate, unexpected needs for cash, what do millions of families actually do? They definitely don't rush to the bank to deal with weeks of complex loan approvals. No, they bypass the formal banking system entirely and pull out their household gold to sell or pledge. It's basically our default emergency button. That brings us to Section 3, the shift to financial planning and adapting to changing times. For the longest time, traditional gold hoarding and proper financial planning were treated like they were the exact same thing, but here's the reality check. They really aren't. Making a smart financial decision isn't just about piling up a metal that can suddenly get 15% more expensive because of taxes, and that's not even counting making charges and GST. Proper planning actually means making strategic, highly efficient decisions that seamlessly protect your whole family when disaster strikes. Because here is the terrifying truth we all have to face. A serious illness or accident can wipe out literally years of savings in a single moment. Imagine spending 20 years diligently buying gold, piece by piece, building up your ultimate safety net. Then, out of nowhere, a medical emergency hits with a massive 10 lakh hospital bill. You're suddenly forced to liquidate your gold, taking a huge hit on making charges and taxes, just watching your entire life savings evaporate in a flash to cover those immediate costs. This is where Section 4 comes in, health and term insurance, the modern safety net. First up, term insurance. This is the purest form of life insurance, and it is absolutely essential for the primary earning members of a family. Let's really break this down. If you are the one bringing home the paycheck, paying the rent, or covering the school fees, term insurance isn't some optional luxury. It's a strict necessity. It's pure protection, guaranteeing that if something tragic happens to you, your family won't have to desperately pawn off the household gold just to survive and maintain their standard of living. And on the other side of that safety net, we have health insurance. This is what easily manages unexpected medical expenses without you ever having to touch your life savings. So instead of breaking into your locker, losing money on making charges, and paying hefty fees to liquidate your physical gold during a health crisis, your health insurance steps in. Your hard-earned physical savings stay entirely intact while the insurance company takes care of those massive hospital bills. It's a real game changer. Finally, Section 5, the cheaper financial backup, high value at a low cost. Let's look at the actual math here and the massive advantages of modern insurance. First off, you start with a very small premium. And for that tiny, tiny fraction of the cost, you instantly get financial coverage in the lakhs. And you know the best part? Unlike selling off gold, there are zero making charges, absolutely zero GST deducted from your final payout. Plus, if you set this up online, there are usually some really high discounts available. Now compare that to waking up to a sudden 15% import duty hike. Mathematically speaking, modern insurance is a far cheaper and far more efficient backup plan. So this leads us to a final, pretty provocative question. Is gold really your best friend in a crisis? Or is it time for a cheaper, stronger financial backup? Look, you can absolutely still buy gold today, tomorrow, or next year. It's a beautiful asset and a wonderful part of our tradition. But when we're talking about true, reliable emergency protection, the facts from our sources are crystal clear. Don't delay securing your insurance. It's the modern, cheaper, and fundamentally stronger backup that will actually be your true best friend when times get tough. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, I highly encourage you to go review your own financial safety net today.